everyone, this is Julie. Welcome to week 2, mission 1. What kind of publishing platform is right for me? So Russell just gave you an enormous task, but don't fret. It really isn't that hard. It's kind of like a habit. Once you get into it, it just kind of happens, and it happens pretty easily. So I want to help you pick out which kind of publishing platform is going to be the right one for you, and really how to hack the publishing process so you can get it done. So I'm going to go through each one. I'm going to start with Facebook Live and just talk about the benefits, the pros, the cons, and why you might choose Facebook Live. So firstly, is your audience even there? If they are, which usually we say anyone who is using Facebook as their primary platform is targeting people ages 30 to 50 plus. There are a lot of younger people on Facebook still, but if you're targeting a super millennial style audience, they're not on Facebook quite as much as their parents. So I would say pretty much if your audience is human, female, male, and between the ages of 30 to 50, they are on Facebook, guaranteed. Secondly, are you serving people, just the general market? Because if you are, they're on Facebook. Or are you serving entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs are also all over Facebook because they use it as a marketing tool. Basically, anyone other than a C-suite type corporate. It's not to say that they're not on Facebook, but sometimes if you're in that like B2B space, business to business space, where you're really targeting kind of high level executives in corporations, or you're looking for real true business to business opportunities, sometimes Facebook can be a little tricky. The next question is, do you get dressed most days? For a lot of you who might be living the laptop life now, or you run your own business, getting dressed is definitely optional when you work from home. So in order to do Facebook Live and not look silly, you really need to be dressed and ready to go. And are you high energy? Because on live, you are competing. You need to be highly energetic, enthusiastic. You need to be ready to go. So if that's your personality and you get dressed, 2 points for Facebook Live. And do you need visuals to get across your points? And the beauty of Facebook Live is that you can share your screen. So if you are doing any kind of teaching or anything that really requires a visual, you can use Facebook Live and get your point across. Also, sometimes just for body language, or if you're using a flip chart, or maybe you're outside, let's say in your garden, if you're doing something in gardening, you need the visual in order to get across your point. That would be another one for Facebook Live. Personally, for me, what I like about Facebook Live is that when I go live on my page, I can then turn it into an ad. And so this is going to be important later on down the line. I'm just kind of giving you that feedback that you can use your lives as ads, and they work really well. So if you plan on doing paid advertising, that's another point for Facebook Live. All right, podcasting is next. The question about podcasting is your audience, typically I would say the podcasting audience is slightly younger than Facebook, but it's really more about the person. A lot of people who love podcasts are entrepreneurs, love podcasts. Or if you're not serving entrepreneurs, if you're serving the mass market, people who are into things like self-development, education, their best life, maybe they want to leave their 9 to 5. These are people typically who value I find that people who value education, self-development, tend to also be podcasters. Long commuters also would be podcasters, so they'll listen to podcasts as well. Do you spend most of the day not camera ready? I know for me, podcasting is super easy. It's pretty intimate, but I don't have to be dressed. I can just go whenever I want, which makes it easier for me to publish. And I have some really big hair, you guys. And so it's way easier for me to publish a podcast than it is to do a Facebook Live, because some days my hair just doesn't want to cooperate. Podcasting, you still need high energy, and also you really need to be good on the fly. I mean, yes, you can outline your notes on a podcast if you want. I think that some of the best podcasts are done by people who are really good, just kind of going off of a base topic and then just seeing where the wind takes them, because sometimes you can get to some really good meat. And then finally, this is really important. Does your content not need visuals in order to talk about it? So if your content is really visually based, or there's a lot of steps or logic or things that just would be hard to just consume auditorially, then podcast might not be your best option. But I will say that podcasting is super intimate, and your audience tends to get to know you really, really well. And it also produces really high value customers. So if your people are listening to podcasts, I would definitely add it to your publishing queue. All right, next is writing and blogging, more specifically on Medium. Does your audience read? I know that sounds like a funny question, but typically, and I'm trying not to generalize, but if you serve more a male-dominated audience than a female-dominated audience, I mean, just statistics show that men tend to consume video or audio more than they do reading. But there are certain markets where blogging is established already. So, for example, cooking, gardening, home organization, in the mom blog era, there was just millions and millions of blogs established in these different markets. And so there's a lot of markets, even entrepreneurship, design, things like that. So if there's a market already established, then that means that the market is used to reading content, so you can break into the space. So ask yourself that question. Do people use Google to search for information about your niche? This is another really good question, because if people are going to search, let me give you an example for dogs. Let's say you're a dog trainer. People aren't going to listen to a podcast probably as quickly about dog training as they are going to go to Google to search for how to keep my dog from not peeing on the couch. So if Google is going to be a prime way that people find information about your niche, I would definitely consider Medium. If you spend most of the day not camera ready, or you're not typically high energy, writing is a way better outlet for you. Are you better when you've thought through an idea? Some people just need more time to think through an idea. Medium might be a better way to do that. Do people tell you that you evoke emotion when you write? Sometimes I'm better at writing than I am at speaking. This is how I knew that writing should be definitely an option for me. This is why a lot of my content begins as an email, because I write an email to my list, because that's where I can get most of my emotion out. And then I will podcast about my email, or I'll Facebook Live about the email. Does your content need visuals or steps laid out clearly in order to understand? Any topic that's going to require visuals or step-by-step or any sort of logic will do better in writing than it will, especially audio. Okay, the last one is Instagram, and Instagram is a great hybrid, because really you can see here is your audience between 15 and 40. Instagram has the youngest audience of all of them, but it's growing so fast that most people are on Instagram now that are older too, because it's just such an amazing platform. Do you have a niche or market that shines with photos specifically? Because, the feed is all photos. If you have any kind of market that shines with visuals, dogs, gardening, cooking, fashion, anything like that, that would do really, really well, you should be on Instagram. Do you get dressed most days? Because in order to do Instagram well, there's a combination of video and writing and photo. So it's definitely a hybrid. You can see here, are you comfortable with photos, writing, and video all in one? Because Instagram has the benefit of live stream. You can go live on Instagram. It has the intimacy of podcasting in your Insta stories, which are those 15-second clips where people can kind of watch what's going on in your world, a little peek behind the scenes. And it also has the visual writing combo that you can get on Medium. So Instagram is a great, great place to be. If you serve an older audience, Instagram is definitely, you might want to push a little bit more towards Facebook. So I know what a lot of you are thinking. How can I be omnipresent? So the first thing I would say, if you want to try to do all of this, I would start with a combination of podcasting and live streaming. So basically, you record your podcast live on Facebook or Instagram, or both. You can actually go live on Facebook and live on Instagram through your phone at the same time. And if you get a little tripod for your phone, you can just turn it on live, and then you can face your computer and you can go live on both. And you can just use a microphone that's a decent microphone, or you can just use the microphone that's streaming, through your computer as well. Do your podcast live. So talk about whatever you're going to talk about on Facebook and Instagram live, and then rip out the audio. Once you've done that, you can upload and publish your podcast. Russell talked about Anchor.fm. If you want to then also use it in a writing way, you can transcribe the podcast on Temi. It's 10 cents a minute. So it's pretty dang cheap. It's not perfect, but you can turn that transcription, you can use that transcription, you could turn it into a blog post, and you can publish it to Medium. Then you can take a quote, your best quote out of the blog post, and use it as an Instagram caption. And you can either take a photo, or you can use like a little podcast teaser video, and you can post that on Instagram. That means that you've used every single one that we've talked about here except for Insta Stories. And Insta Stories really doesn't need a lot of prep. It's just your life behind the scenes. So you can do 5 or 6 stories a day, just doing life. It doesn't even have to be about your business. And that's the thing, is that as we get going, you're establishing an attractive character. So people are following you because of your topic, and they're also following you because they want to see who you are and how you live. So if you do it this way, you can actually bang out every single one with just one piece of content. So I hope that helps. I hope you guys feel a little less overwhelmed. Choose your publishing platform, and just the best advice I can give you is to just get started.